Chapter 46. Not on the same level. Outside of the mountain pass, Bai was standing in front of the spirit wolf confidently. The ice power he was in control of had turned into a slow ice frost as it covered the four limbs of the spirit wolf. As Bai was about to reveal a trace of relief on his face, he suddenly discovered that the spirit wolf's pace was only slowed a little. Its approach toward the students was unaffected. It's useless? Bai was dumbfounded. His ice spread could freeze 3 or 4 people in place even on bad days. As Bai saw it, he could give his other classmates a chance to regain their composure. Who would have thought that the strength of the spirit wolf's 4 limbs would be this strong? His ice spread was unable to make it stop. Creak! The spirit wolf stepped onto the ice with 1 foot and continued to advance. The spirit wolf's objective now was Bai. Its large foreleg was raised high in front of Bai before it viciously slammed down. Boom! A vicious shockwave caused the dust and stones to fly away, along with Bai, who was hurled more than 5 meters back. Bai had no ability to defend himself at all. Under the shockwave's impact, he was unconscious as he hit the ground, no longer able to get up. Bai. Zhao Kunsen hurriedly ran over and discovered Bai's clothes were filled with holes. His skin had been punctured by the sand and stones. Yu, who had finally regained her senses, saw this scene and was so frightened that she started crying like a little infant, unable to move. As she cried like this, it looked as though it offended the spirit wolf. The spirit wolf strode with disdainful contempt toward Yu. For the spirit wolf, there was no such saying as being nicer to a girl. Bai was sent flying with his body stained with blood, so who knew what would happen to someone as fragile as Yu? Sheet, hurry up and run! Zhang Xiaohou shouted urgently. As he clenched his teeth, he once again ran toward Yu in hope of dragging her out of the dreadful sight of the spirit wolf. Monkey, are you tired of living? Not far from this, Mo Fan saw this scene and was no longer able to retain his calm. From Mo Fan's point of view, Bai's action just now was really stupid. His power by itself was completely unable to move the magical beast whose strength was more than just a level higher than the student magicians. Thankfully, this magical beast didn't fully enjoy massacre, or else its foreleg would have directly slammed onto Bai's body, sending his flesh and blood flying with his life, guaranteed. Fire! Fire burst! Under the stress, Joman had basically bitten through her lip before she could finally cast her fire elemental spell. The fireball was flying toward the spirit wolf's body. However, perhaps because it was cast in a hurry, the fireball hit next to the spirit wolf's foot. A large crimson flame began to light up by the side of the spirit wolf, turning the nominally blue spirit wolf reddish. The spirit wolf simply ignored the flame as it continued to walk toward Zhang Xiaohou and Yu. You brute! Have a taste of my lightning strike! Shu Jiaoting yelled out as an uncountable number of lightning arcs appeared around his body. These electrical arcs whipped toward the spirit wolf at his command. Every purple lightning arc was able to cause the body of the spirit wolf to convulse. The spirit wolf was no longer able to advance, and it even gave out a deep, pained roar. The spirit wolf's pair of oily eyes immediately fixed on Shu Jiaoting. Oh woo! The spirit wolf opened its bloody mouth as it howled a roar at Shu Jiaoting. In a split second, a wild wind erupted. The mountain pass originally had a lot of sand and stones, and they were all caught up by the power of the roar. It looked like a dust dragon as it flew toward Shu Jiaoting. Sanpang! Shu Jiaoting hurriedly yelled out as he saw this scene. Wang Sanpang wailed, "Earth wave, diverse." Wang Sanpang's plump body unexpectedly bent over and stuck his 2 hands into the ground. The ground was filled with grains of sand. In between the time of his shout and his hands reaching the ground about him had suddenly turned into a controllable earth wave, like a stone thrown into a clear pond, causing it to ripple. This ripple appeared on the ground, filled with sand and stones. It became a wave of earth that quickly appeared in front of Shu Jiaoting. Originally, Shu Jiaoting was unable to avoid the flying sand and rocks. However, as this earth ripple appeared, it carried Shu Jiaoting smoothly over 5 meters away, smoothly dodging the flying sand and rocks that would have easily injured him. Shu Jiaoting's eyes were closed. After he opened his eyes, he found himself being moved somewhere else. He smiled as he gave his close friend Wang Sanpang a thumbs up. Wang Sanpang was also chuckling. He also didn't think that his use of earth ripple would actually produce this kind of benefit. Don't be afraid, everyone. With us being so many, we are definitely able to defeat the one-eyed magic wolf if we use magic. After Shu Jiaoting had demonstrated his astonishing power, he had quickly become a leader as he gestured to everyone. Everyone, quickly, connect your star paths. The lightning strike has an effect that paralyzes the muscles. This one-eyed magic wolf is definitely having problems moving. Let's use this time and counterattack. Wang Sanpeng yelled out loudly. Just like Wang Sanpeng said, after the spirit wolf had received the lash from the lightning strike, it remained in its place with its muscles incessantly twitching. This was undoubtedly life-saving news for everyone. At the same time, a few magicians who had calmed down also began attempting to connect their star paths. Brilliant light, purify, ice spread, freeze, water field, decay, earth ripple, diverse, fire burst, scorch. 7 or 8 students of different elements finished casting their spells at the same time. The spells caused different effects as they were sent flying toward the spirit wolf. The paralyzed spirit wolf received the attacks being sent from all directions and began to howl out in pain. Fire elements, hurry up. We have temporarily suppressed this one-eyed magic wolf. Use fire to scorch it to death. Shu Jiaoting had naturally turned into the leader. On one hand, he was preparing his next lightning strike while on the other, he was yelling out loudly. The fire element was the damage dealer. The light element's brilliance was temporarily blinding the spirit wolf. Numerous ice mages' ice spreads had caused the spirit wolf's lower limbs to be completely frozen. At this time, they could only rely on the fire element to give the spirit wolf a powerful burn. Joman's little mouth had started to bleed from her biting. She finally cast a proper fire burst, the flames igniting on the back of the spirit wolf. They could clearly hear that the spirit wolf began to howl out even louder from the pain. Ooh-woo! Ooh-woo! When everybody thought that their all-out attack was effective, the spirit wolf roared out twice in succession. 2 waves of sands and rocks simultaneously shot out. One flew toward Shu Jiaoting and Wang Sanpeng as they engulfed everything. The other flew toward the other 3 who were able to cast. The 2 waves of sands and rocks did devastating damage to the students. Each of them had flesh completely torn from them. The students who had just found an opportunity to survive were suddenly utterly defeated. Chapter 47 The Spirit Wolf Goes Out of Control. Definitely not the same level. The upper half of Wang Sanpeng's body was covered with blood as he climbed up from the dirt. Shu Jiaoting remained on the floor, his current situation no different from Mu Bai's. On the other side, the other 5 students had also collapsed on the ground. They were buried beneath the sand and stones, completely unable to get up again. The spirit wolf had suffered some damage, but the injuries were not enough for it to lose any of its combat prowess. The spirit wolf's strength had far surpassed their imaginations. Even if more of them calmed themselves, even if they had 10 or more people, they would still be unable to deal with it. If all 40 of us were to join together and cast our spells, then it's possible that we could win. Bastard, scoundrels! This father will actually die in a place like this. Wang Sanpeng cursed. Mo Fan, yo, your fire element is stronger than mine. Quick, make your move. Joman yelled out from the side. The only things that could truly damage the spirit wolf were fire burst and lightning strike. However, there were too few fire students. It's no use. This isn't even a one-eyed magic wolf. Mo Fan's eyes were fixated on this special magical beast. A one-eyed magic wolf would only have one eye. This magical beast had a pair of verdant eyes. Practically every single person had been scared witless by this magical beast, so who would even pay attention to this dreadful creature's characteristics? Save! 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 Yu was crouching there with her face turning extremely pale. It was very clear that the spirit wolf greatly despised those who kept weeping. After it had blown away those students who were able to use magic, its objective once more became Yu. Hurry up and run. Mo Fan felt a twitch of disdain. This girl was incurably stupid. Just now, there were other people who were attacking the spirit wolf, giving her time to run away. However, she actually did not move a single step. This is not good. If this continues, then everyone will die under this magical beast. We have to get rid of this thing. Monkey, are you able to rush forth? Mo Fan had an idea, and hurriedly asked Zhang Xiaohou, who wasn't too far away. Zhang Xiaohou nodded repeatedly. Good, I will attract the attention of the magical beast. When I do that, you must carry me and run toward the cavern, do you understand? Mo Fan said to Zhang Xiaohou with a serious tone. Brother Fan, what are you planning on doing? Zhang Xiaohou asked. Slaughtering it. Mo Fan clenched his teeth, using the pain to calm himself down. The fire elemental stardust turned into a cosmic space as it swirled around Mo Fan's body. Each of the fire elemental stars finally began to link with one another to become a magical star path at the command of Mo Fan. The speed of completing a star path for Mo Fan was very quick. After he connected the sixth star, the seventh and most disobedient star finally acknowledged Mo Fan's command. Completing the star path, the magic was cast. A scorching flame ignited within Mo Fan's fists. The scarlet flame was erupting between Mo Fan's fingers. Fire burst, burning bones. Everything was complete. Mo Fan's hair was fluttering madly from the airflow. As the fierce flame was thrown, the fireball whistled through the air. It flew toward the spirit wolf's massive trunk with extreme accuracy. The fireball's impact was initially silent. After a bit, it looked like a frantically growing scarlet vine. It actually ignited the spirit wolf's body. The intensity of the flame was far more powerful than the fire burst cast by Joman. The fierce flames were very bright, and also very ferocious. The spirit wolf raised its head and emitted an exceedingly pained howl. The spirit wolf seemed to be in agony, running and rolling around on the ground. Finally, it turned and jumped into the pond. The flames from burning bones didn't dissipate even in the water. The horrifying power of the flame probably burned the spirit wolf's viscera into ashes. Joman, Zhang Xiaohou, Wang Sanpang, and Zhang Yinglu saw this scene, and were completely dumbstruck. The disorganized elite students who were outside of the mountain pass were also looking at Mo Fan in disbelief. Brother Fan, your fire burst. Zhang Xiaohou looked at Mo Fan, stunned. The power of Mo Fan's fire burst was far stronger than Joman, and even the effects of the flames weren't the same. Joman's fire burst was at the scorch level. After the fires struck the spirit wolf's body, all they did was continue searing the surface of its body. This kind of scorching would only burn off the outer layer of the spirit wolf's body, and not truly damage its muscles and bones. In contrast, Mo Fan's fire burst looked like it had ignited inside the spirit wolf's body. The effects of everyone's spells together just a while ago didn't look as effective as Mo Fan's single fire burst. On the stone platform, the summoner called Bai Yang creased his brow at this moment. There was a telepathic link between a summoned beast and the summoner. Bai Yang was able to feel the excessive pain his spirit wolf was suffering. He was very clear on the fact that the fire burst used by the student had actually thoroughly damaged the spirit beast. Fire burst? Burning bones? At this moment, both Chief Instructor Zhang Kong, as well as Mrs. Tong Yue, revealed astonished looks on their faces. Zhang Kong and Tong Yue were both fire element cultivators. How could they not understand fire's primary spell? The fire element's primary level, fire burst, was divided into 3 levels. The first level of fire burst was known as fire burst, scorch. Scorch was the lowest form of the fire burst. The power it possessed was just quickly igniting the target in order to burn them. However, the second level of fire burst was completely different. Fire burst, burning bones, was as the name implied. After the fireball hit the enemy, flames of an increasingly high temperature would directly ignite from within the enemy's body. It was able to burn even the bones to ashes. The external burns of scorch were unable to deal a lot of damage to the spirit wolf. In one aspect, it was because the students had no idea about where to attack, while in a different aspect, the spirit wolf's fur also possessed a high resistance to magic. Burning bones was completely different. The dreadful flames that came from the internal combustion could very well burn the spirit wolf's insides completely away. This student, what's his name? Zhang Kong came back to his senses, his eyes finally revealing traces of praise. Being able to achieve the second level of fire element spells, this student was remarkable. His name is Mo Fan. Mrs. Tong Yu's face revealed a slight smile. Mo Fan actually did not let me down. In just a short period of a year, he has already risen to the level of burning bones. The truth is, the first fire burst skill she ever showed the students was actually burning bones. That was why the effects of the flames at that time were far stronger than the ones the students had seen before. This student, we can give him an S. Zhang Kong said with satisfaction. Instructor Luo Yunbo and Vice Instructor Pan Li